Field goal percentage is a statistic in basketball that measures the ratio of field goals made to field goals attempted. In general, a higher field goal percentage usually denotes a higher efficiency. Or does it? Today we're going to be looking at the question, and we're also going to be looking at the pros and cons of field goal percentage and why it should not be the end all for looking at a player's efficiency. Now, before we get started, here is a reminder to grab that popcorn, click the subscribe button, and to keep up with the channel's upcoming content, stick around. So cue that intro. Reason number one, the three-point line. We could go by counting by threes or more than twos angle, but I don't think it's as strong of an argument as the history angle. For instance, before the integration of the three-point line, many of the early low-post stars had low field goal percentage by today's standards because of the crowding in the paint. For example, Bill Russell, 11-time NBA champ, had a career field goal percentage of 44%. However, he is known as the ultimate team player. It is impossible to be the ultimate team player with very bad shot selection. So why is his field goal percentage so low? There was no three-point line, and the spacing was more likely much more clogged than it is now, causing his field goal percentage to be over 21% lower than a player like Clint Capella, whose field goal percentage is 65.2%, or also a DeAndre Jordan. Reason number two, positions and system. When a big man in a grit and grind offense shoots 50% from the field, it's considered trash cans. And when a guard does it, he's having the standard for shot selection and efficiency like a Chef Curry, who has a free-flowing offense looking for the best shot at all times. To give an example of fanboys not being fair to position and system differences is when individuals use field goal percentage as a down on James Harden's MVP season in comparison to LeBron James. Now, James Harden is a shooting guard who shoots well from the field and is utilized in an offensive system that forces him to shoot the ball from far as well as drive as the only two regular options, which explains why he shoots with a lot of volume from the three, shooting 44% overall from the field as field goal percentage. LeBron James, on the other hand, played in a system where he has shooters on the three-point line, waiting to shoot, spacing the floor for a small forward/power forward to drive the lane and have one-on-one offensive situations. Finishing at the cup will always have a higher efficiency than the three-point line. It doesn't matter if it's Steph Curry's field goal percentage versus DeAndre's or Ray Allen's versus Shaq, the dunk will always go in more than the three, despite the shooting ability of the latter. But people, when comparing players, immediately jump to field goal percentage when we should be evaluating the system that they play in, as well as their position on the basketball team. To give another example, in 2001, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Larry Brown, had the game plan set up so that AI would take as many shots as possible, if you guys watch this, and that the rest of the team would play extreme defense and run the floor very well when possible. AI shot 42% from the field in 2000-2001, but this is the year that he won MVP. This is the game plan that worked all the way until the 2001 finals when the 76ers got handled by the Lakers in 5. He managed to steal a game from the Lakers in LA. So we're going to move on to reason number three, different eras, different rules. To give some examples on the old rules benefiting field goal percentages better than the ones now in terms of the 80s and 90s. In 1981 to 82, some of these rules were created. For instance, a player without the ball may not be double teamed from the weak side. If an offensive player is above the foul line and inside the circle, they must be played by a defender inside the dotted line. Also, if an offensive player is above the top of the circle, the defender must come to a position above the foul line. The last rule from that year for illegal defense was a defender on the cutter must follow the cutter, switch, or double team the ball. They cannot double team anyone else. They can only follow the cutter, the switch, or double team the ball. Any violations after the first would lead to one free throw attempt and the possession of the ball as well. In 1983, 1984, there was another rule created. If a shot is taken simultaneously with a whistle for illegal defense and is successful, the basket should count and no penalties imposed. So As you can see, some of these rules are very beneficial to some of the offensive players. These are the kind of rules that can help a player make sure the defender is not allowed to play zones or utilize team defensive tactics to the fullest, forcing the defender to be stuck out there on an island on a player like an MJ or a Larry Bird. This isn't to denigrate their greatness. Great players are going to be great regardless of era. But we have to call it out. Facts are facts. They did have a benefit, of this rule system, because if we look at the early 2000s, some of the shooting guards who we quite often always are giving a hard time for shooting terribly from the field or shooting less efficiently from the field than they should be. Players like Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. We look at those kind of guards, and we see they're shooting in the 44% and not shooting close to 50. Well, this is the case because a lot of zone defense was being used. Teams like the Pistons, you guys go watch some of their games. That stuff it definitely has an effect on you. So look, there's definitely more to the field goal stat than what meets the eye, but hopefully this video showed that any stat cannot be used as the end-all be-all of analysis on a player or a team, because there are different factors like rule changes, role, and position that heavily influence a player's efficiency. While Clint Capella shoots 17% higher from the field than Joel Embiid, who plays the same position as center, I doubt that any of you motherfuckers, I doubt that you guys would take Clint Capella over Joel Embiid on the same team if given a choice, as well as all-time status. Now look, it's been real. Thanks for the love, all the subs, and you already know, don't be mad at me, be mad at yourself for being the underachiever. Let the outro music rock.